Today we are looking at Luke 15, verse 11. Jesus loved to teach in stories or parables, and this parable is the parable of the prodigal son. I'm not going to read the whole story, but I'll just paraphrase the beginning here. There were these two sons. The younger son asked his dad for his share of his property and his inheritance. Basically, when the father was going to die, he was going to get all this stuff, but he asked for it beforehand, which was totally a rude thing to do, right? But he took his money and he moved away and he blew it all on partying and stuff like that. Once his money was gone, this famine swept through the land, and obviously he realized he needed a job, right? But the only work he could find was feeding these pigs, which was like the lowest of low jobs ever, right? So here's where we're going to pick it up in Luke 15, verse 17 through 19. It says, finally he came to his senses and said, "My father's workers have plenty to eat, and here I am starving to death. I will go to my father and say to him, 'Father, I have sinned against God in heaven and against you. I am no longer good enough to be called your son. Treat me like one of your workers.' And can I tell you that the father ran out to meet him? And in those days, men never ran for anything, right? But he saw his son, and he ran out to him, and his son could barely even start his little speech that he had prepared. His son and his dad had just embraced him and put fine clothes on him and gave him jewelry and all this stuff and threw this huge welcome home party. My mom ran out on my dad and my siblings and me probably about 5 months ago. And when she told us that she was leaving, I wrote this song about what I wanted her to say when she realized how irrational her decision was. In my mind, one day she was going to wake up and look around and think, what have I done? You know, how did I get myself here? She'd come running back to us like, "Oh, you guys, I'm so sorry. I can't believe I did this. Is it too late for me to come home?" And I feel like we do that to God. As Christians, we do that to God. We know what's right, we know what's wrong, but sometimes we go the opposite direction. You know, we let the devil trick us into thinking that our way is better, which doesn't make any sense, really. Then later, we come to our senses, and we want to come back to God. I need you to know today that He'll always take you back. He'll always love on you like you never left. I wrote this song for my mom. It's called "I Want to Come Back." Can I tell you now, or is it too late that I'm sorry? I didn't mean to leave behind the pain I'd caused. See, recently I've been in such a hurry, I didn't take the time to reason out my choice. But I'm starting to see what my life would be without you. 'Cause I wanna come back, I wanna come home. I don't wanna live my life alone, and I don't wanna spend my life thinking of what could have been. Now I don't think you quite understand what I'm saying. Changing is not too hard or out of my control. Something here really isn't working. See, there's this empty feeling deep inside my soul. But I'm starting to see what my life would be without you. And I wanna come back, I wanna come home. I don't wanna live my life alone, and I don't wanna spend my life thinking of what could have been. Because now what my life would be without you. Yes, I'm starting to see what my life would be without